Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe. I'm your host, Keri D. Singleton, and today we welcome Richard St. John all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas to the show. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me on here, sir.
Thank you for coming all the way up. I know it's a little cold, but it's gonna be all right. We're gonna get through it.
Oh, I just adapt to the weather, have it come.
Yeah, you better than me. So first question I have that's not on my cue card. Why do people from Arkansas pronounce the state Arkansas when it looks like it should be pronounced Arkansas?
The S is silent.
The S is silent.
Yeah.
But not in Kansas. So it's not Kansas.
No, not in Kansas, but Arkansas, the S is silent.
Arkansas, okay.
You know, like lasagna, the G is silent.
Right, okay.
You know.
I always wanted that.
Yeah, so you know.
Okay. I respect it. And so you're from Little Rock. I've never been to Arkansas before. I've never been there. Never been to the state. But tell me about, you grew up in Little Rock specifically.
Yes.
Which is the capital.
In the East End.
Okay. I was going to say, tell me about the East End specifically. What was it like growing up there? Because I hear it's kind of, it's the hood.
It is the hood.
Okay.
It was war.
Okay.
It's growing up in a tumultuous time where, you know, there's a lot of banging going on. Mm-hmm. And I actually survived that. So East End is a blood-affiliated neighborhood. And then, you know, it was the Bloods and the Crips. They had the banging and HBO banging in Little Rock. Mm-hmm. That was a very serious thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, you know, blessed to be able to make it out of that.
Yeah.
But Little Rock is a place where it's like, it's a lot of places are really the same.
Right.
It just what type of spotlight you put on it.
Correct.
So
that's true.
You know, yeah, you have good areas, you have bad areas, you have mid-space areas, but it's really all the same. It's just a smaller demographic,
right? But
with a mentality of we're just as big as anybody else.
Correct.
Yeah.
I understand. I know. East Side Players gang was the gang that you rolled with.
Yes.
Back in Little Rock. How old were you when you joined the East Side Players?
13.
And I need 13.
Yeah,
wow.
13.
When I was 13,
14.
I was just building clubhouses and you know, and believe me, I'm from Roxbury, which is a section of Boston that ain't very nice. So, but I guess, you know, it's just everybody has different experiences. And so, what are some of the things, looking back, Rich, that you feel attracted you to being a part of a gang?
Okay, so let me clarify. So 13 is when, you know, I saw it. Mm-hmm. Around 14, 15. So what happened was it actually was a lack of attention, or therefore it was attention, but it wasn't the attention that I was seeking.
At home?
At home.
Okay.
You know, and what this is, you know, my parents were divorced.
Okay.
So I was staying with my dad, and like my dad was real strict, and he used to come home, and every day he would say, "Don't let me catch all of them projects."
Right.
At that time, me and my brother was just playing basketball on the block, and that's all we cared about. But about the 1,000th time he said it, I was like, "Let me go see what's going on in the projects."
Right.
And little bro, like, "I'm going with you." I said, "Nah, you stay here and be the lookout." I don't know how he felt for that, but just tell Pop I went to the store if he come home before I get back, and went to the projects and got mesmerized.
And quite frankly, if I'm to follow what you're saying, your dad, his constant
trying to keep me away,
right, was what
caused the curiosity.
Yeah. So what did you find in the PJs? What did you find?
I found, again, my dad was really strict. I saw freedom. Mm-hmm. I saw freedom to do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that was attractive at the time.
Right.
And then these are the people that I'm going to school with as well.
Right.
So now I'm building friendships with, and this is where I'm, so I became an East Side player.
Okay. What did that entail? Because there, believe it or not, I'm being sarcastic, there are a lot of people that have never been in a gang before. There are many people that have never seen a gang before. And so I myself have never been a part of a gang. What was it like to be in the gang family structure?
A lot of, you know, that's kind of a tricky question. I mean, what side, you mean from the inside of what I'm seeing, of
Yes.
what I'm telling, or what was happening on the street?
No, for what you were seeing.
Oh, that was like my second family.
Okay.
These my homeboys, my homegirls.
Right.
We represent the same neighborhood. A lot of the things that I went through growing up that way shaped me to be who I am today.
Right.
And it taught me a lot of mistakes that I made. It taught me a lot of things that I was able to learn to take that and do it the right way.
Right.
It's like your experiences are what mold you as a person.
Correct.
So once I learned how to master those experiences, even though they came from a negative side of life, I was able to spin them into a positive because those were my experiences.
Right. Absolutely. And one of those experiences that you were afforded was to become a recording artist.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so obviously the Lil Rock Players, which was named after your hood.
Well, actually, Lil Rock Players was representing all of Lil Rock.
Okay.
Because in actuality, the guy that I ended up in the group with was from the other side of town.
Okay.
And I saw his talent past his demographic.
Dope.
And it just rocked.
Okay.
And like we came to New York.
Yeah, you signed to Starside. I know Mr. Massenberg's label at Universal was big when it was. What was it like? And I remember they were with MCA. It was the distribution company.
Actually, it was Universal.
Universal was the distribution
Yeah,
company.
Kedar sold his stock in Motown and started
That's right.
Kedar Massenberg Music Group.
Right, I stand corrected.
And Starside was the production company that we were signed with, and based on our deal with All Star, we got a deal. We was the first rap group to sign to Kedar's major independent label.
Right, wow.
And then we got distribution through Universal.
Universal, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And the song Mrs. Jones was your single.
Yes.
So how did it feel coming from Little Rock, Arkansas, making it to Manhattan, as they say, and getting a deal? You're in there with all the execs and the A&Rs, and things are different for you, very different than back home. How was that culture shock? How did you deal with that culture shock? Because there had to have been a culture shock.
No,
No?
I'm different.
Okay.
And in me being different, as I was growing up, I always said I'm bigger than the city I'm from. So I already had it in my mind. I started traveling at 18 years old.
Okay.
So I've been a lot of places.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of different ethnicities. I've seen a lot of different people in the melting pot. I've experienced a lot of things. So when I came to New York, my determination was I'm not leaving without a deal.
Right. Right.
Now, some people from where I'm from, yeah, they thought I fell off my rocker.
Yeah.
But, you know, manifestation and determination
Yeah.
and motivation means everything
Right.
when you believe it.
That's
because
right.
I believed it here, so it didn't matter what anybody else believed.
Correct.
And got our first deal in 11 months.
Correct. That's so dope.
I'm talking about first time coming to the Big Apple. They say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
That's the truth.
I
That's
wasn't
the truth.
going nowhere.
Until you got what you came for.
Right.
So talk to me about some of the recording sessions, and what was that like as you were putting together your first project?
It was great because All Star has studios at his house. He has 2 studios, so it was more of a setting to where we didn't have to worry about a lot of people coming in and out, and we got tons of work done. So,
Right.
but some of the other sessions were going to Sony Studios to get them mixed
Mixing
for
that,
Universal. That was great. I met a lot of different artists walking in and out.
Nice,
You know,
yeah.
and started to just build alliances with different people. Because you got to remember, at that time, the airwaves, the South.
Well, what time were we talking? What year?
We're talking 2003,
Okay.
2004.
Right.
The South had took over the radio waves.
Right.
So, you know, it was a different thing because, you know, coming from down south, when you say you rap, I know in New York, when you say that, it's right now.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to do it right now on
Right.
the spot, wherever we at.
They want to hear it.
And I was going off.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you do writing? Did you do producing? What are some of the inner components of your recording experience?
I did writing. My rap partner, he produced, but for the most part, All Star was the producer.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, I was like the mouthpiece.
Dope. And so your creative juices were just all over the place.
Yeah,
That's-
but very controlled, like organized chaos.
I understand.
So it just came out on the track, and the way that it came out was like, they was like, "Where are you guys from?" Yeah,
Yeah.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
And speaking of chaos, brother, your journey hasn't been without a lot of it. I mean, you were a recording artist at the beginning of this millennium, but then, of course, you had another experience that I want to talk about. That was, being incarcerated.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, I did.
And what year?
Okay, so I survived banging in Little Rock. Got the record deal, came back home, still had a foot in the streets, a foot out.
Right.
I ended up doing Fed time, I survived that. I did state time, I survived that.
Wow.
And again, the strongest thing that a person has on them and the strongest muscle they have is the mind.
Right, absolutely.
So I had already built it in my mind that my body is locked up, but my mind is free. So I just did my time and came on home. But that being said, what it taught me was a lot about redemption.
Right.
People make mistakes. You
Absolutely.
have the opportunity to create a second chance. Well, they call it a second chance. I call it a second life.
Right.
From what you did before in the past.
Right.
And if you really study history, there's a lot of people in important places that's been to prison.
Right, exactly.
World leaders, politicians, all kind of people. So
Right.
prison does not define, your past does not define your future.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, right now I'm on a path of redemption and I'm leading by example.
Yeah, it's important to reinvent yourself. It's important to understand that none of your situations in life, certainly not the negative ones, should define who you are as a human being. Like you said, a mistake is a mistake, and error is an error.
Right.
Just like an accomplishment doesn't necessarily define who you are as a person.
Right.
One must really just kind of understand that life is a journey.
Right.
And that there's going to be a variety of experiences, and I'm glad that you took what you experienced in prison and from being a young member of a gang to advance. And we're going to talk more about that when we come back. We'll be right back. And we're back with my guest, Richard St. John. So after your prison stint, admirably, you became a mentor for at-risk youth and ex-offenders. I love that, brother. Talk to me about that.
Yes, I'm a very big advocate for ex-offenders. I do preventative work with at-risk youth. I've already been down the road. They don't have to go down.
Right.
So when I speak to them, I say, I've already made all the mistakes you don't have to make.
Right.
And I'm telling you the truth. And because I come from where they come from and I also speak the language, it's different from sending Bob the Builder to talk to someone that has no experience but can understand, the culture itself.
And it's an awesome way, I don't mean to interrupt you, going from being behind the wall to talking to people who could potentially be going in that direction.
Yeah.
That's an awesome way to reinvent yourself. Reinvention is just so important.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as well as the ex-offenders. Post coming out, I said, oh, no, I don't want to do this no more.
Right.
I'm not doing this again.
Right.
And it's only one way to not do it again,
Right.
and that's to go legit.
That's right.
Right. So in going legit, as I said, leading by example, I'm showing other ex-offenders you can rebuild your life after a checkered past.
Right.
But the authenticity has to be there.
Correct.
The first thing that has to change about an ex-offender is the mentality.
Right.
Just to say, people don't understand, the streets is an addiction just like drugs.
Exactly.
So if you don't change the mentality, then they're still going in circles. That's why we have the word recidivism.
Right.
And that's someone who constantly repeats the same pattern of going back to prison and back to prison. So I lead by example. I also have a transportation company. I hire ex-offenders.
Excellent, bro.
To show them how to make a legitimate a way of living, because transportation will never go anywhere.
Right, exactly.
And it's also very good money. It's the closest legit thing to street money as you can get. Because another problem is you have someone who created a criminal enterprise. You send them to prison, they come home, probation tells them to go get a job at wherever.
Right.
And it's not the same money.
Exactly.
Now, the first rule of life is self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
If you hungry,
you gotta eat.
and you're gonna do it by any means necessary, right? So if I could close that gap, which I figured out how to close that gap so they can make the same type of money and actually live, then now we're spinning away from, I gotta go break the law to get this money to feed me and my kids.
You're breaking the cycle, and I really, really respect that.
Right.
I really respect that, man. What did you do for the Arkansas Department of Health? There's a PSA that you did, and I wanted to talk about that. It's related to COVID and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of I'm gonna make a long story shorter.
Short, okay.
But I have a friend that, from where I'm from, he took the college route.
Right.
Okay, so he has a company that's, an advertising company. And we've been friends for a long time. He actually had a heart complication at the gym, and I was just calling to check on him. So he ended up having to have a 4-hour surgery. He made it out. He got home. Eventually, I'm just texting him every day, hey, bro, you good? You need me to do anything? I'm your eyes and ears. I'm just being a genuine friend.
Right.
And when he got well, he called me one day and was like, he said, say, bro, have you taken the vaccine? I said, no. He said, any reason why? I said, no. And then he explained it to me why I should take it. Now, this is one of the friends that has never lied to me about nothing, and no matter if it hurt my feelings or not.
Correct.
So the way he said it, I was like, oh, okay, cool, I go get it. He's like, I bet. Plus, I got this commercial I want you to do. What'd you do for me? And I was like, all right.
All in the same sentence.
All in the same sentence, same conversation. Yeah. So then what happened was I did it, and it was no script. They had 6 questions. I read the 6 questions, and because I'm so good at being in the studio and I write in my head, I just looked at all the, and I can memorize, I just answered all 6 questions in a row. And in that being said, I said something that I didn't know I said until I saw it. And I said I sell things. So what the internet did was they took that and flipped it and
of course
made it as if
I sell things.
Pablo Escobar was my uncle.
Right.
And that's how it ended up going viral. But the good thing about it is I changed the vaccination rate 80% in the state of Arkansas.
Excellent.
This was before it went viral.
16 million views is a lot of views, a lot of eyes. And you were able to take something that they twisted and turn it into something great.
Right, yeah, they did a backflip, so I did 2 backflips.
I know that's right, brother.
And I sell things on a t-shirt and sold a bundle of them.
Wow.
And I didn't really, that was my first time going viral. I'm from the old school, bro. I don't going viral. I just so happened was in Miami, and some people ran up on me in the hotel on Brickell. I was like, hey, we sell things too. I was like, man, y'all can't be serious.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah.
And like, can we get a picture? I was like, yeah, all right. I'm just saying, like, I didn't know it was that impactful, that many people in the world saw it, that no matter where I was at, people running up on me and they was excited to meet me.
Wow.
I also got drugged through the mud too, but.
Yeah. More importantly, that kind of was a segue for you to start your acting career. Now, you went to Charnel Brown's School of Acting.
Yes.
How did you decide that acting was going to be a career that you wanted to embark on?
It actually was always my escape strategy from music because I studied the greats.
Right.
So at a certain age, a lot of different artists, they transition into the acting world and they're actually great actors.
Exactly.
Right. So I already had that, but then I got derailed with the feds and, you know what I'm saying, in the state. But then I ended up having a set of twins. So at that point, I really was done with entertainment because I was concentrating on my children.
Right.
So when the commercial went viral, again, I got drugged through the mud. So the commercial was on Say Cheese, Baller Alert, Shade Room, The Breakfast Club.
Wow.
And yeah, Charlamagne, yeah, he drugged me through the mud. But it was one thing that he said that stuck with me. He said, Richard Johnson, don't nobody know no Richard Johnson, and he's right. Because in the streets, they call me Filthy Rich. So, but he said, he's nothing but a paid actor. I said, he's sure right.
Wow.
So then I met some people that introduced me to Charnel. She invited me to her class, and I started taking her class. And little did she know, I was flying to her class her class was only on Saturday in Houston. I was flying to her class every weekend from 11 to 4 o'clock for just her class.
Wow.
And then we'll fly right back because I didn't want to miss time with my kids.
Right, of course, okay. And so you got you some film gigs. I'm not saying that you're going to acting class got you film gigs. I'm sure there was a lot of networking and handshaking involved. But you have a pretty admirable list of credits. Waterboys, seasons 2 and 3 of BMF, and we had J.D. Williams here on the show last year. He was obviously in that series as well. Grit, I mean, praise this. What did it feel like to actually be on TV now? It's one thing to take classes and to be passionate about something, but to be in front of the camera like you are now with scripts and makeup artists and this, that, and the third, how did that make you feel, brother?
The reason I'm probably not the person to ask that question is because when I'm razor focused, I don't see nothing else but the work. I don't see the outside. People tell me. Once I complete, I'm on to the next thing.
Right, you're focused, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really, it's nice to be congratulated for my accomplishments, but I don't live in that space.
Right.
A lot of people make a mistake of living in the space of, I was on TV.
Right.
Nah, I don't feel like I've done enough.
Got you. It's time to move on to the next project.
I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And even when I keep going, and when I get my first award, or my second award, or my third award, I'm still Denzel Washington laser focused. That's all I know.
Yeah. Now, while you were on the set of BMF, both seasons 2 and 3, you had the opportunity of meeting actor Ryan Lawrence, and that kick-started a couple of great things for you. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, me and Ryan, shout out Ryan Lawrence, he was K9. The very first scene I did with him, we got cool. And I asked a lot of questions. So what happened was, you know, we exchanged numbers and I'm asking questions. And one day he just called me, was like, hey man, my acting coach is having classes in Atlanta. You invited if you want to go.
Wow.
That's how I met Sheik, my bae. And shout out Sheik Studios. And it took me to another level as far as understanding the inner workings and dynamics of acting. And it's actually an oxymoron because acting is something you don't do on set. You live in the moment.
Really? Okay.
Acting is just the title they give it.
Correct.
But when you live in the moment, you get unforgettable performances like when Denzel does it.
Right.
You forgot he was Denzel, he was Alonzo on Training Day. So that's what it is. So then after that, I ended up meeting Charnel Brown.
And you also, I mean, this is smart, bro. I actually did a play once, and I was terrible. And I was playing myself, believe it or not, a couple of years back up in Boston. Terrible. It's awful. But I got through it. But acting was not my forte. It wasn't my calling. But you actually took it a step further in terms of when you prepare for roles, you do character research, and I think that's so dope.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you prepare for roles.
Let me add this in there too. Charnel Brown she's like an auntie to me now. Charnel Brown taught me acting from a theatrical standpoint.
Okay.
In theater, you have no chance for mistake.
Right.
And if you make one, you better make it look like it happened on purpose.
Right, because you're on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have two different levels of acting. I have theatrical and I have on screen. See, on screen, they can always say, cut.
Right, exactly.
Theater,
you can't do that.
you might mess the whole play up.
Right.
So she taught me a lot of different dynamics, and I love her dearly for that, you know, and everybody that helped. So, and a lot of my coaches, they dig deep. So scene study, character analysis, studying you have to embody the character. You have to actually become the character months before you play the character.
Right.
People have to think you crazy.
Right.
Because if I was playing a character and I'm embodying that every day, it's somebody that's not gonna get it.
Right.
I'm like, what's wrong with you? But they don't know that I'm
training,
studying for this role that I'm finna master, you know. So yeah, I just, you know, there's a lot of different techniques. You got, you know, Meisner method. You got, you know, I'm reading a book called The Intent to Live by Larry Moss. It's a lot of different methods, but it's also what's inside of your heart and the ability to make it your own. Because there's one thing to study the greats, it's another thing to copy them.
Right, exactly.
You don't copy.
You don't want to do that. Yeah.
You study and then you make it your own.
Right. Now we got 1 minute left. See, time flies when you see. I'm getting educated from you. Not that I want to act, but I'm getting education. We got a minute left. What's next for you, Rich?
The next step is I'm working on my TV series, 32 Degrees.
Excellent.
Yes, and it's season 1 is called The Art of Redemption. It's, you know, it's gonna be a lot of everything that we talking about.
Yeah.
As far as like redemption and ex-offenders, and because it's a battle within. I'm working hard not to go backwards.
Right.
And when you start doing good, that's when all the tests come.
Absolutely.
And either you gonna go backwards or you gonna stay steadfast and faithful and keep going forward. So, you know, that's it right there.
Yeah.
And when that happens,
then you got to come back to the show so we can talk about it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being a guest,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving me an education on acting. I might need it someday. Who knows? Who knows, right? But in the meantime,
you might be in 32 Degrees.
I might be. Hey, I'm accepting it.
All right, he said it.
We'll see you guys next week.